What it do, 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 soul visionaries and potential soul visionaries out there. I am your host, Sherrod Corner. You are now rocking with the Soul Vision Powercast. You know that place where we keep it unfiltered and raw. We talk about anything from porn to politics. We'll even talk about the things you might have heard or even saw. Today, I am going to answer a question that was sent to me by one of our listeners. And it says, the only way to comfort your man is to follow his lead. True or false? A young lady sent this to me. She had heard it on a podcast. Someone made this statement, and she wanted to know if I felt that the only way to comfort your man is to follow his lead. That's not the only way you can comfort your man. And first of all, I'm going to say false. Because the statement in and of itself, because it says the only way. So only disqualifies it as it being a true statement. Right off the rip. Only disqualifies it. Now, the only way to comfort your man is to follow his lead. Now, any good leader knows that you're supposed to pick wise counsel to be around you because you don't know it all. You don't have all the answers. Sometimes you may get stuck, or sometimes the people around you may do a thing better than you and you need their expertise for it. And leaders are not those that say, hey, I got all the answers. You follow me. I'm a dictator. Those are dictators and authoritarians and things of that nature. A good leader is going to involve everybody in on the process of making a decision if it's not something that needs to be answered like right away. We need a decisive answer right now. You know, and then it's a case-by-case scenario, right? Hey, I go to the store. You know, my lady says, you know, hey, go get us something to eat. All right, you go to the store and you just bring home something to cook. Hey, babe, hey, hook this up. Woo, woo, woo. Okay. She has no problem with that. You know, it's just one of those things where, you know, I think we're getting to a point now where both sides, men and women, are like, it's either all our way or it ain't nothing. And you can't have a relationship based off that. Leadership is something that's really earned. You got to earn leadership by showing leadership. And leadership is not dictatorship. It's not that I just know everything. You're going to follow my every word. Whatever I say, go. You can't challenge me. That's not how leadership works. Well, that's not how good leadership works. Good leadership is asking other folks for their ideas. Good leadership is, hey, allowing folks to question you with the expectation of getting an answer back. To be a good leader in the house as a man, you know, you got to lead by example, right? So when you come home, hey, I believe in 50-50 as being the balance. So when you come home, a good leader is going to come home and, hey, he might sit down for a few minutes. Hey, let me catch my breath. I just came in, you know, whoop, whoop, whoop. Your lady know a routine. And then all of a sudden, you jump in. You jump in to help with the kids. You jump in to help with cleaning the house, keeping it clean. You jump in, taking care of what's necessary. I don't believe, see, everybody's crying about this 50-50 rule, you know, 50-50 as far as, hey, bills, and everybody's just all up in arms. You have the panderers and the feminists and the strong black woman and all this crap on one side. Then you got the men over here that's saying, no, you got to pay 50-50, whatever. 50-50 to me is just about balance. It's about this, right? Sometimes it's 60-40, right? Sometimes it's 70-30. Sometimes it's 80-20, right? You know, it just teeters. As long as this one side doesn't fall and hit the ground and stay there, you know, it's 50-50. 60-40, 55-45, it's going to teeter because every day your partner's 100% may not be what it was the day before or what it's going to be a week from now. We got to start learning how to allow, folks to be who they are in the relationship, to grow in the relationship. That's what leaders do. Leaders understand the strengths and the weaknesses they possess. They understand the strengths and weaknesses of their partner, and they allow that to flourish. It's like a flower. They allow it to grow. They put water on it. They give it light, and they allow it to grow. They get out the way and allow it to grow. To me, it sounds like a lot of men out here, are teetering on this dictatorship. Like, I know it all. You can't check me on shit. You know what? If that's what your household is run by, and that's what it does for you, it helps you to become, or makes you feel like a better man, that you make all the decisions. Hey, fine. But I'm one of those people like, hey, yeah, as a leader, I'm going to look at my lady when there's something I don't know. Hey, hell, I might call one of the homies, like, bruh, or call a brother. My leaders, man, they know who to call, when to call. They know when they got to do it. Do it all on their own. They know when to let somebody else take the lead on something. We just can't, as men, we just can't jump out here and just assume that just because we're a man, we know it all. And we don't. The first things you're taught is that you don't know it all. That's why we have to spend every moment trying to become the best versions of ourselves. Hey, read books, man. I'll tell the young homies all day long, man, grab a book, read a book. Every time you change it, and every time you read a book, man, you change who you are. You learn something, man. The brain starts working differently every time you put new knowledge in there. So you'll understand that, hey, the more I go out and learn, the more I don't know. The more I understand that I don't know everything. And a good leader understands that. So that's why he picks wise counsel in the mate that he chooses. Why would I want to pick a woman that's an airhead, that knows nothing? A lot of those guys that pick those type of women, those are the ones that say, hey, the only way to comfort your man is to follow his lead. And he is true. Because she don't know nothing. So she has to depend on him. She has to follow his every lead because she don't know anything. But when you get a woman that's smart, hey, she's intelligent, sometimes she's going to ask you, hey, babe, okay, you're doing this and such. Why didn't I do it this way? It might cause you to think. Like, oh, damn, you know what? You're right. I do believe that a man should come to a relationship with a certain skill set, knowing how to do certain things, at least the basics of doing home repair, the basics of, working on a car, or at least having people around you that know how to do these things, or having access to the money to get it done. A man should come to a skill, to the relationship knowing that, hey, I'm going to protect this woman, at all costs. But we also know too, as leaders too, that woman is going to protect me too. She's going to have my back. And then the protection may come in a different form, but it's protection nonetheless. So that's when, even when we, we got our homeboys or whatever, I'm going to protect my homies because I know he's going to protect me too. I got his back, he got my back. That's how it should be when you with your lady. I got her back, she got my back. It'll never be one time where she falls down and stay down. Nah, we're going to help each other up. And that's what leaders do, be it in a relationship, a romantic relationship, or platonic relationship, or, the relationship with your homies. Somebody out the group is always going to be, hey, man, I got an idea, this and that and the other. And y'all, you got to be able to compromise, right? A good leader knows that, hey, communication is the key. Being consistent is the key. Being committed to that is the key. Cooperating and compromising. Those 5 C's, that's how I try to govern my life. I try to govern my life by those 5 C's. Hey, communication is not talking. Communication is it involves verbal communication, um, listening, and not just listening to respond. You're listening to, to understand. Or we're communicating. We're not trying to see who's right or wrong. We're just trying to solve whatever the issue is. And then the commitment to the relationship, the commitment to the growth of each individual in this relationship, being consistent, showing up every day, giving your 100. Because in a relationship, it's not 50-50 in a relationship as far as the household goes. It's 100-100. Everybody got to give their 100%. It's 50-50 as far as the balance goes in the house. And then, like I said, that balance is not always going to be 50-50. It's going to be 60-40, 55-45. It's not always going to be the same. So when you have communication, commitment, you being consistent, then you got to learn how to cooperate. You got to learn how to cooperate with one another. You got to learn how to say, okay, hey, babe, hey, hand me that. Hey, babe, we're going to do this. Yeah, we're working together. We're working together. And then you got that thing called compromise. Compromise is when we both know that we're not going to always get our way. Compromise is saying, okay, dig this. All right, babe, you want to go here on vacation, but I don't have the money to go here this time. So instead of her spouting off, getting mad, she's like, all right, cool, then we'll just do that because, the most important thing is just a vacation with each other. So this time we can't go to Bali. So this time we just going to go to Disneyland because that's where our money can take us. We make those compromises so that, we can keep it moving, keep everything going smooth, and then as the leader, a man, I believe a man is the head, he is the head. I believe that. But also this man has to understand his woman, hey, she's going to get emotional sometimes. And you have to understand that sometimes you just got to let that be what it is. Okay, babe, you listen to it. You got to you understand who your woman is. Let her vent. And when she's done venting, that's when you got to come back with, okay, babe, now, whatever your issue was, that wasn't me that caused that. I don't mind talking to you, whatever. We have to sometimes just be the voice of reason, even when we don't see the reason we should be the one doing it, because, hey, we say everybody adults. That's true. Everybody in a relationship. Both of us, we're adults. But sometimes you're going to get mad. And she's just going to sit and listen to you rant. So this relationship thing, man, it's a reciprocal energy that we need to give. It's a give and take. And it's a give and take on both behalves. So when I'm hearing all these men out here saying, hey, you should pay 100% of the bills, take care of everything, you're not a man if you don't do it. I don't listen to them. I really do. Their voices have fallen on deaf ears now because they sound stupid, because we're living in a day and time where two incomes are needed, right? 2 incomes are needed. And we're also living in a day and time where we can't afford to fall behind, right? So it's going to take sometimes 2 of us to do it. It's nothing wrong with that. Ladies, you don't have any less of a man that you go, whatever the percentage you pay, your man is no less of a man than the one that pays all the bills and do everything. All you have to do is ask yourself, am I happy? And the cool thing is I hear a lot of women out here say, why do I want to have my man go out and do everything and I sit around and do nothing? One lady says she would feel like she's not bringing anything to the table if she's not helping, if she's not contributing. And especially you women that's past childbearing age. If you past childbearing age, what reason would you want to sit at the crib and do absolutely nothing besides being lazy? You know what I'm saying? And like I said, the leadership thing, it all goes back to, as a leader, you say, hey, what's going to make this house move? So if paying off 100% of the bills is what makes your house move, smooth. Do that, bro. If 50-50 makes your house move, do that. Your house is going to be run differently from everybody else because everybody's situation is not the same. Everybody's situation is not the same. So why don't we stop pushing these agendas on one another and just teach people how to work together? Like I said, I do believe the man is the head. But I also don't believe the only way to comfort a man is to always follow his lead. It's comforting to know that I got a woman that, hey, if I don't know something, she may know it. It's comforting to know that, hey, this woman got my back no matter what. It's comforting to know when I'm having a bad day, I can come home and talk to her. See, just taking orders from a man is not the only way to comfort a man. But he may be that kind of guy that needs to know at all times, I'm in charge, I'm in charge. But a dude that stand 10 toes down, would stand 10 toes down and then he about his business, I don't have to have somebody reaffirm to me time and time again, I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. You, great when you pay 100% of the bills. I don't have to go through all of that. It makes no sense to me. We run our household the way we see fit in the way that keeps us both happy. I'm just still not understanding how we're getting to this point where, we're going to overlook what the economy looks like. I don't want to work. I want to hit the lottery or grab a stock that pays for itself. Hey, sometimes it happens, sometimes it don't. But I know for a fact that, hey, when it comes down to paying my bills, the bills are going to get paid. If I need help, you can always, hey, call your, talk to your lady, be like, hey, babe, we're a little short. And she has no problem with it. See, that's the point, you guys. Another thing about you guys out there, man, y'all are trying to get with women that don't really have any interest in you. So you're going to have to pay all her bills because that's the only way she's going to like you. And that's what's wrong with a lot of these guys out here that's saying, hey, you got to pay all these bills. You got to do this. Yeah, because that woman that they're with won't like them other than for that reason, because they pay all the bills. Other than that, man, they're out there doing their own thing. So all I'm trying to tell you, at the end of the day, your situation is going to be different from the person down the street, the person next door, the person across the street. And you always have to remember that, being a leader is not just about barking orders. Being a leader is sometimes listening, and hey, you might take some direction here and there, because you don't know it all. That's what a good leader understands, that he doesn't know it all. Not ashamed to say, I don't know. Not ashamed to go out and learn something new. And I damn sure don't need to be comforted by somebody just blindly following everything I say. My ego, I don't live, my ego does not control me. I control my ego. And a lot of men out here, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but a lot of men operate on their ego. That's why they're out here doing things online to try to validate who they are, what kind of man they are, what kind of relationship they have. My wife loved me. And then their whole thing is, I'm going to talk down on another man. I'm going to try to dim his light to make mine shine brighter. Bruh, men that stand on their business don't have to get out here and speak ill of men that's not doing the same thing they're doing. So, to make a long story short, when I go back to that question, the only way to comfort your man is to follow his lead. False. It is false. So, hey, it's 2025, player. It's time for us to rise and fly. Peace.